Welcome to the Leafman podcast. I'm your host, Trevor Taylor, and this is my co-host,
Brooks McWhorter.
Today, we got some very special topics for you to talk about.
Says you.
Says me, yeah. There was a couple things that we touched on last week's thing that I wanted to develop on, and also, it's been a very growth-oriented week at Trico, I feel like, so I've had a lot of personal talks with, each of the employees to talk about, things that they're going through.
Yeah.
Externally and internally.
We can't wait to hear them.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to start off? You said you got some good ones, or you want to start off with one? Or you want me to just go?
I'll tell you what mine is, and then
Okay.
you can roll it into wherever
Okay.
it fits in your thing.
Sounds good.
Mine is just I went more motivational and businessy and professionally today.
Okay.
It's not about the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
I was thinking I was having a conversation with Sarah that we can get into momentarily.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about talking about pride versus arrogance. It's almost like at what spot does pride become arrogance?
Oh, that's a good one.
You know
That's
what I
actually
mean?
a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah, you know where that line is?
Um.
Your wife telling you that she's like, oh, look at me. I could definitely walk up to a lion in the wild and it would just know that I'm not a threat. I'm like, wrong. Wrong.
Hey, you know what, man? I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast before, but there was at one point in my life when I was so inebriated and so arrogant that I thought that I could climb a tree faster than a bear.
I don't want to talk about that.
I hope Kyle listens to this
Dude,
podcast.
you almost went to hands over that argument.
We almost got in a fist fight because of that exact argument. Not me and you, but our other roommate.
Kyle.
We had to leave the house separately because we were so heated about that fight.
Yeah, and I just laid on the mattress in the laid on the mattress in the living room. It was like, oh my god,
Oh no,
this is a nightmare.
this is a nightmare. Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I like that one. That was very well thought out.
Thought you'd like that.
Yeah, I do like that. I think that. I was actually talking to Matty Boy about this, right? And I think that you have to have some semblance. I think that to be a CEO or run a business, there is always going to be some semblance of arrogance. Now, how you deliver it, or how you in your head, you can be as arrogant as you want. On the outside, what you say, what you speak, cannot come out arrogantly, right? So you could think in your head, I'm better than that guy. But if you say, I'm better than that guy, you kind of then you come off as arrogant. So it's different to speak it versus actually thinking it. But also on top of that, do you have anything to back it up? And I think that's where pride versus arrogance comes in. Can you back up the statements that you're making or the beliefs that you have? Or are you just
inappropriately confident.
Yeah, or you inappropriate. Yeah, and I think that's the difference, right? So the difference is pride versus arrogance. You have to throw confident in there somewhere, the word confident, because I can be super confident because I've built an undeniable amount of truth by doing the things I say I'm going to do, performing at the level I need to perform at, upping myself over and over and over again, that there's a certain level of confidence when somebody asks me or you, can you do that? And I say yes, even if I don't know how to do it. I've proven to myself over and over and over again that I'll figure it out. But
in those days, it was arrogance.
Yeah.
Now it would be pride because you know how to do those things because you've done them over time and you've done them multiple times. But in those days, when you didn't know how to move stairs and you told that person you did, and then went to the bathroom for 20 minutes and looked it up on YouTube, that's arrogance. So maybe that's the line.
Well, I think okay. Also, I think even that could be construed as confidence, right? If you know that you're going to do the work to figure it out. It's arrogance if you say it and then you're not the guy that's willing to put in the work to figure out how to get it done.
Right.
If you just say that you can do it and then you try and then you fail and then that's it, that's arrogance. But if you say, I can do that, and then you try and then you fail, and then you try and then you fail, and then you try until you get it right, that's confidence.
So in a lot of situations, the difference between pride and arrogance would be ability in whatever the subject matter is.
I think I think the difference between pride and arrogance is let me rephrase that. Let's take pride out of the conversation. I think the difference between confidence and arrogance is knowing that you're confident is knowing that you're not going to stop until it's done. Arrogance is thinking that you can do it, but not being willing to follow through and see it to the end, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then pride comes in, I get prideful about Trico, But there's a difference between bad pride and good pride, right? Mm-hmm. So bad pride leads to arrogance. Good pride leads to confidence. Like, I'm proud of Trico. I'm proud of the things that we've learned. And because of that, it allows us to continue on. So, like, good pride and bad pride. I don't think pride is inherently evil. I think that what pride leads to, confidence or arrogance. If it leads to confidence, pride is inherently bad. If it leads to confidence, probably good.
True.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's kind of like I have pride in our company and I'm confident. And maybe it is arrogance. I don't know, but I know that we are on track to be the best tree company in Utah.
Yeah, 100%.
As far as all the parameters that I believe make a good company and you believe make a good company, I think that is what we are. And that's me being confident, not arrogant, because we back up everything we say. Yeah. And then I would say you have like the smaller tree companies with different parameters for success.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to get into.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you launch it.
Yeah, well, no. I was just going to relay off of, or like tag on to what you were saying is like, you're confident or prideful about like us being the best tree company in the state of Utah, but that's according to our own parameters of what makes a good tree company or the best tree company.
Exactly.
We think that those are good. Now, there might be another tree company that's like, well, we're the most profitable, but they don't do charity, they don't do this, they don't care about their employees. Like, what makes you? I feel like we're going to be the best tree company because of the parameters that we set. It makes us feel good.
And they think we're setting ourselves up for unsuccess, whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. Uh-huh. They think we're doing the exact opposite of what we're doing. They think that we're doing things that like why would you give money away?
Yeah, why would you give money to a charity?
Yeah. It's taken away from your revenue. Yeah, it's taken away from your revenue, bro.
Yeah, it's because they think small. They think short term. Like they're thinking, that money is money that I need right now. I can't give it away. But what are you gonna do 5 years from now? Like
when you haven't built your brand and you haven't made a name for yourself.
Yeah, we're dumping money. A lot of money into our branding and marketing and like the podcast and all these things that are really, and the charities that are really doing nothing for us financially. And the charity isn't even necessarily about getting an ROI, but like we're doing all these things that provide us nothing right now because we're thinking in 5, 10, 20-year goals. Like 20 years from now, personally, I would like to own this phenomenal tree company and also move into like the public speaking realm. I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
But for another company, like they're thinking short term, I need that money right now, but you're never going to be able to expand because you didn't invest in something that takes 5 years to grow. Mm-hmm. You're thinking this year, this week, this month, and that's fine. I get it.
Today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're thinking long term, even though we also have to think today. Like we have a truck that went down. Yeah. We need a truck for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's like finding that balance. Like today when I was signing us up for the 5K.
Yeah.
I was looking at the prices. They hiked up the prices a little bit because we're signing up late.
Yeah.
But it was so much with how many guys we wanted to go. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man, we just can't afford this right now. But we're still going to do it. I'm just going to cut down, 2 guys that wanted to go.
Yeah.
And it's going to be you, me, and Withers.
Yeah.
Just us. It's just thinking about that. It's like, yes, I'm still going to do this charity thing, but it's like, man, I can't just throw money at it.
Yeah.
I have to be conscious. I have to be conscious about it.
You can't help other people if you cannot help yourself.
Right.
That's just a matter of fact. And there's a lot of good people with a lot of good hearts who would give their last dollar, but that's not beneficial. If you would have invested that dollar into yourself and learning how to make more dollars, then you could go give more dollars in the long run. And people just forget about that. Like, you can have a good heart. Taking care of yourself first does not make you selfish. It makes you valuable to the people that need you tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
And
it's like what me and Sarah always say, and same thing actually went with you, but I mean, you were going through major transitions. Like, you were staying single after that big breakup, and you were getting sober, and you were doing all this and doing that. But like, me and Sarah always say, like, to our friends that are just going from one relationship to the next, just like I used to, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, if you don't take the time to figure out who you are alone, you'll never be more than just a shadow of yourself and a reflection of your partner that you're with in that moment.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put that. I like that.
Yeah.
We should sometime we should start getting some clips from the podcast for your thing, social media. That was a good one. I like that one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you'd be a shadow of yourself and just a reflection of your partner because you haven't figured out the things that you like to do or enjoy.
So you're chameleoning.
Yeah. And that's funny. They bring that up in a lot of TV shows. Like, they did it in How I Met Your Mother. Like, Ted just jumped. They showed that he was like into LARPing and into like all these other things because of the girls that he was dating. And
that's how I got into CrossFit, folks.
Yeah.
I'm currently out of CrossFit, but I was in it for a while.
You were in it pretty hard. You did pretty good at that sport. Yeah. But yeah, it's chameleoning. So anyways, all right, I got some questions. Let's go through it.
Let's hit it.
It's funny that you brought that up because it kind of leads into this other one. And it's leadership. I didn't really know how to write this because I was talking to Matt about it, and what I was gonna write is that leadership is not earned, it's taken. But but it came out wrong because like you don't take leadership. Like you can't force people. You can force people to follow you, but that's not good leadership. So what I really meant to say was like leadership is not. It's given, right? So it's not like, okay, how do I explain this? I was talking
or earned.
Yeah, so I was talking to our 2 new team leads, right? And I was like, look, you guys are the new team leads. No one here, like I'm giving you that position, but you've been on the same level as everybody else.
Yeah.
So the only way that they're going to respect you as a leader is if you go out and take it. Now, I'm not saying that like you force people to follow you. What I'm saying is you have to start acting like a leader, and because you start acting like a leader, people follow. It's not like the Almighty comes down and says, you're a leader now, and then everyone chooses to follow you. You have to act like a leader and give direction, and then they will start to follow you. And if you don't do that, then you're not really a leader, right? You're just another guy in the pack.
And you have to adapt too. It's like it can't always just be your leadership style. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? You're gonna, I'm pretty soft most of the time. You know what I mean? As far as leading goes, I mean, in the military is a little bit of a different thing, but I was well liked by my guys. In the military and stuff like that. And I think, but there was times where like I'm getting reamed out multiple times by my superiors because I'm letting things slide and they keep happening. So my adjustment is then, okay, for this situation, for this person, I adjust and I'm gonna go smoke the shit out of them behind the barracks building for 30 minutes, and maybe they'll get with the program. And then tomorrow I'll be the same leader I was before.
It's your leadership needs to be specific to people. Now, it can't always be specific to people, but certain people need different things. And your job as a leader is to figure out what they need and what motivates them, and that's how you get them to follow or do what needs to be done, right? And so that's kind of what I was saying is like, as a leader, like they're not going to just bow down one day and say, hey, yeah, you're the leader, we'll follow you. I'll put you in a position, you go do what needs to be done to get these guys to follow you, and then like take life by the horns, like take leadership by the horns and like just be a leader. That's it. It's like no one's going to give you this title and it just appears that you're one day that way. You just start doing it. Like nobody gave me permission to start leading Trico. I just started doing it and people start following, and so you develop your leadership because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a reflection of you as a company. I mean, I feel like two sides of the same coin are the difference between good or bad leaders in positions of power and turnover.
Yeah, and turnover. We've had.
I'm not like a real like stand up all the time guy. But if I'm working for a guy that I know is not a good leader, I'm looking for another job.
Yeah, 100%. Or you're just always open to another job. Now,
always.
If you have some guy that you want to follow, which I feel like our guys do, then you'll stick around and do what it takes. And they've all told us that numerous times. They really believe in us. On top of that, the one other thing that I wanted to touch on is I'm not soft in my leadership. I am fair and I don't yell and I don't really demean, and sometimes I think it can appear soft or like I don't know.
I mean, I'm definitely softer than you though.
Yeah, I'm unwilling to do what needs to be done or something. But I've been working on that this whole year because like sometimes you have to do hard things and it's uncomfortable. That's why like I've been telling Withers to like I'll make the calls to the mechanics to hammer down on them because I'm trying to like hone that skill. Yeah. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, we take it so like you care so much about these guys that you don't want them to like hate you or despise you. You want to lead them and have them love you and follow you. But, you and me got smoked by Corporal North probably 1,000 times.
Yeah, and Sergeant Jeffries.
Yeah, and during that time, everyone was always like, why do you guys like hanging out with Corporal North? He smokes you every day. And I was like, yeah, but after he smokes me, he explains what I did wrong and buys me a beer.
Yeah, exactly. Buys me a beer, takes us to Freebirds.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, but I think about things from that perspective. Like, he did hard things, and he was definitely hard on us and yelled at us and smoked us, but I still really liked him as a leader. So sometimes when I get in my own head and I'm like, man, am I being too hard on these guys?
Yeah.
Maybe, but I also explain to them what I do is...
Sometimes you have to...
Yeah, and they'll still like you afterwards because I still liked him, and he was way harder on us than I've ever been on them.
Exactly.
So, like, I think that there's a medium in there that needs to be like visualized or seen.
Yeah. I agree. I remember that one time I remember the first time he took us to the gym when we weren't really working out. We never like worked out before really. Yeah. And he took us to the gym, and then we went to Freebirds and got they had those big ass burritos. Yeah. And I'll never forget that he turned around after you had already walked off to the table. He like turned around. He was like, and I'd been like, oh, I can't move my arms after that workout. He just like picked up my tray. He's like, I'll carry it for you. I was like,
thank you. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Corporal North was a good squad leader or team leader.
Yeah, he was a good team leader.
Yeah, we got smoked a lot. Someone actually brought up, I think it was Tyrell. He like commented on one of my posts recently and was like, I'll never forget that day that Corporal North walked in on you and Brooks in the PX and you had your iPro and PC cocked up on your head.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, that was the worst smoking I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I know that.
Didn't he tie us together?
He tied us together after that. Yeah. Just so everyone knows this story because it's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is great.
Brooks and I were on the same team, and we got into trouble so much together. Mostly me, and then Brooks just guilty by.
I was just there.
He was just there. At one point, our team leader literally tied us together with 550 cord, 5 feet of it, and we could not be without the 550 cord. So if I had to use the porta potty, Brooks had to stand outside the porta, and vice versa. We were together hip to hip for like literally 4 days in a row.
It was so funny, dude.
And dude. Good times. I love the Army. They don't do it like that no more.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah. That was good. Okay. Next question. I wanted to touch on this because last time we brought it up in the podcast and I wanted to elaborate more on it. But I said,
all right,
life is difficult. Circumstances are unfair. The economy is hard. Life's got you down. Your wife left you. You lost your job or whatever.
A lot of stuff going on in the world.
And I think I found out who it was. It was Alex Hormozy. He said, and then what? And I don't even think those are the 3 words that he used. He said, okay, or so what? Or however he said it. I don't know. But the gist of it is, like, those things happen. What is next? Because, like,
life will continue regardless.
Life will continue, yeah. Regardless. So, like, I kind of wanted to elaborate on that. And we talked about it in the podcast, and it was good. But I think people get stuck on, there's 2 ways you can go, right? Everyone has detrimental things that happen to them. Everyone.
Yeah.
And there's 2 roads that you can take once the bad detrimental thing happens. There's the road to victimhood. Okay, this thing happened to me and this is why my life is crap and this is why I'm never going to get better and this is why, yada, yada, yada. Or this thing happened to me and it was the catalyst for change. Mm-hmm. This is why that one act is what made me do self-development. What made me start going to the gym. That person called me fat. That's why I changed my life. My wife left me.
I used to call you fat all the time.
Yeah, you did all the time. Yeah, I was kind of a heavy guy when I drank.
That's how you know I love you. I called you fat every day.
Yeah, all the time, dude. Yeah, take your shirt off, Trevor. Honestly, though, people call it fat shaming, and this is gonna get some heat. I already know it. If this one makes it into the Instagram, it's gonna get some heat. But people call it fat shaming, and I think amongst your friends, like, it's healthy to tell your friends, like, hey man, you should probably go get on a treadmill sometime, or like, hey man.
Right, like don't go walk up to someone at a grocery store and be like, hey, you're fat.
No, definitely not.
But among your friends, I mean, I feel like you can trust your I would expect my friends, just as I would expect a partner, like a lot of people get into marriages and then they like gain a ton of weight because they're comfortable and they have their person. But I would hope that like my partner tells me like, hey, everything that is in our life will be better as long as we stay in shape.
Yeah.
Like, you will live longer. We will spend more years together. We will spend better years together.
We can make love for a longer period of time.
Exactly.
Those kinds of things. Like, we can go on a dinner walk. Like, it's nice. We can go hike a mountain trail and see beautiful sights. Lots of things, dude. And I think it's healthy. Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's fat shaming to tell somebody, like, hey, I think that you should get into better shape.
Especially when you're coming from a place of
care,
respect, and love.
Yeah, and also sometimes those hard truths are the catalyst. Like I said, we're going back to the split roads, right? That's the catalyst for change. My wife was like, hey, man, you should probably, like, maybe diet a little bit with me. Yeah. That catalyst for change, like, you can either be the victim. My wife called me fat, and so we got a divorce. Or my wife told me I was
That'd be such a funny story, though.
Or my wife told me I was a little out of shape, and I used that to go to the gym, and now we have a strong, healthy marriage, and she takes great care of herself. Like, you choose which of those do you want. And so I like that Alex Hormozy says that, like, and what? So all these things happen.
And what sounds right.
Yeah, and what?
Yeah.
And what? What are you going to do? And for me, that's what I think about every time something goes wrong. When a previous employee, who shall not be named, rolled a bucket truck, it was like, and what? I can go yell at him. I didn't raise my voice at him ever. He rolled a $50,000 piece of equipment.
Right.
And a chipper.
100,000.
And everyone's like, why didn't you go scream at him and yell at him? And what? What will that do? Nothing. Like there was a mistake that happened. Something happened. A bucket truck got rolled. And what? Yelling at him, firing him, that does nothing. Sitting down and figuring out what the problem was and understanding how it can be fixed for the next time and being like, hey, you made a big mistake, but luckily we have insurance and we do things by the books, and so that's okay. Yeah. How can this be avoided? And then putting that out into the company, that's and what? Victimhood, this guy ruined my company, he dropped my business, this, that, and the other, or high achiever mindset. Okay, what can we learn from this and how we move forward?
And also, a good thing that we did, rather than yelling at him, was we didn't jump in and get on a call together and be like, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? How do we fix this? You were I'm sure upset, but when he called and said something about that, it was like, fix it.
Fix it.
Fix it.
What's the solution here?
That's going to teach him a lot more than yelling at him, telling him to get out of there and then fixing it for him.
Yeah, what's the solution here?
What's the solution? It's at the bottom of a chasm.
It's the bottom of a ravine. Okay?
Go get it.
We're in a high stress situation, and I knew that I had grown because in that high stress situation, I had worked so hard with Spencer to learn to not be reactionary that when that happened, it was like you said, I didn't react poorly. I said, okay, this is a good learning experience for Braden. You're in a high stress situation.
Yeah.
How can you fix this?
Yeah.
Calm yourself down. Figure out a solution.
Yep.
And they did.
And they figured it out.
They figured it out. They found how to stop the oil leak so we didn't damage the creek. They got the
wrecker
up there. Like, that is how it was handled. And it was great. Like, it was a great learning experience. And I'm sure that helped him for future endeavors learn that, like, even in the worst of circumstances and in the most high stress, there are solutions to get you out of it.
Yeah.
Instead of adding on to his stress, we use it as a teaching moment, which is awesome, I think.
Yeah,
I
agree.
And what? Like, if you can pause every time you're stressed or every time things are about to implode and just say, and what?
Yeah.
Then it'll help you a lot.
It's kind of a sidebar, but it reminded me when you were talking, like, the world's in shambles, politics are a joke, everything's expensive, everything's kind of messy right now.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about this. I saw this meme on Instagram the other day that was like an alien landing on Earth, and like a human just walks by him without acknowledging, and the alien goes, "Hey, aren't you surprised to see us?" And he just goes, "Man, I got a lot going on."
That's awesome.
just like, dude, I got a lot going on.
Yeah, like the government came out and admitted aliens are real or something this week. Dude, dude, do you understand, like, that's how crap the world, or how crazy the world is right now, that, like, the government straight up, supposedly, I don't even know, came out and said that, like, aliens exist, and it is so far down on the totem pole from my caring that it's just, like, irrelevant.
Yeah, they've also done it before. During, like, in the middle of the pandemic, they did it too. It's like, it's almost like when everything's a mess, they try to kind of...
Distractions! yeah.
Aliens!
and
then we're still all like, where's that Epstein client?
Yeah, where's that Epstein client? 100%. Hey, so that list, the good stuff, you got it for me? This will probably get blacklisted on YouTube.
First of all, I know aliens exist.
First of all, I know that.
I know that. I've seen every episode of Ancient Aliens, and
There's
twice.
No way. Yeah, twice. There's no way.
They're there. They're out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that and what statement has gotten us through. I feel like, for me personally, and there's been times where I want to quit, and obviously times where it's like, dude, this is so not worth it, or like, oh, I just want to break. But that and what mindset got us through a pandemic, which was incredibly hard. We started a business during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Then it got us through...
At the onset of the pandemic.
We started a business. So we've had to ride that out. Then we've had to ride, the worst gas prices we've had in 10 years.
Yeah.
Then we've had to ride out the worst economy. And it's like all of these things. And it's
tons of inflation.
Everything is freaking difficult to spend money on right now. And I always go back to that. And what?
Right. Yeah, well, you have to.
Cool. Yeah, it's hard. Are you going to be the one that quits? No. So, like, while everyone else is quitting, if we can hold on, it's like, cool, quit. Keep quitting. I'm going to keep sitting here taking my beatings, and eventually there'll be way less opponents, and we will succeed. So it's like, and what? And what? You're going to be the victim? Oh, the pandemic took our business. Oh, inflation because of Biden took my business. No, I will find a way to win now in terrible circumstances. And if circumstances come around, get better, then we will succeed more than anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing I was going to talk about is another one that probably is going to upset a lot.
Be a little spicy?
Not really. Kind of. I don't know. I think so many people are going to disagree with me on this one.
I'm probably going to disagree with you.
No, I don't know. You might. I don't know. Spencer taught me how to budget. And we have I want to clarify this at the beginning. We have an accountant that helps us budget things. I, from my youth, have not liked to budget. I don't do it. I'm not good at it with my personal finances. I am not good at budgeting. I am not a budgeter. I don't go in and write out my personal finances and figure out how much I can spend on food, how much I can use. But the catalyst, or not the crux of that, is that I know that I don't like to do that, and therefore I have worked extremely hard to make sure that I don't have to check before I go buy groceries or like things like that. And maybe that's bad. Maybe people will be like, hey, you should probably be more on top of your finances, and that's great. But I worked really hard so that I don't have to do that.
Right.
Like, I live within my means. I'm not a greedy guy. I don't need to go buy, a nice new...
You don't have a bunch of toys.
Yeah, a Lamborghini or a side-by-side. I know the things that I like, and I like my business, and I know that all of these things fall within my budget. So if I want to go spend $300 on dinner, then I will. Because, I don't also have a $300 side-by-side payment.
Right, exactly.
I don't like to budget, so I've learned how to live within means that mean that I don't really have to look at those things, and I work hard enough to make enough money that's kind of irrelevant a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a caveat off of this. It's kind of within the same realm.
Yeah.
I agree with you, by the way. I don't disagree. I'm not a budget guy. I've never seen a budget that I liked. But in that same realm, me and Sarah always talk about it, but I've always felt this way. Saving. In a long-term big way, I don't like either, because I like to spend my money on. I'm young and we're in the prime of our lives. I want to go to Mexico. I want to go do this. I don't want to have this massive savings and my favorite thing to do is my favorite question to be asked by anyone is, but what are you going to leave your kids? Absolutely nothing. I am nothing.
Go make your own money.
I'm not getting left anything. Yeah, build your own life. Go make your own money, and I know they will, because I'll raise them that way.
Yeah,
They don't need some $20,000 payout when I die.
No,
I also don't need them looking forward to that shit.
I want to teach them how. I want to be a good enough parent that I teach them how to make their own money, so my money is irrelevant. That's my goal as a parent. To teach you how to be successful enough that my money is irrelevant. You don't need dad's money. You don't care.
Exactly.
Whatever. I like my business. I like the way that I live my life, and that's a goal as a parent. And also, back to the budgeting thing and living your life. Yeah, one of the goals is to have 6 months of savings for your stuff, and I work on that regularly. But I'm also building a business that requires most of the money that we get to get funneled back into it. And that's very difficult to do. Get 6 months of savings. I'm working on that. But there are also things that I can't This past 3 weeks, we've probably spent between the 55 and the bucket now and getting the trailer fixed. We've spent $25,000 just on vehicle repairs. There's my 6 months of savings for my mortgage and stuff.
Right.
That's the crux of doing business, and I'm willing to take on that risk because I know that it will pay out at some point. It's just we're taking a beating this year, and that's what it is.
Right. And to go along with that as well, like you were saying, I like to spend money. I like to go spend $300 on dinner or whatever. For my anniversary, we go to this 5-star resort in Arizona. I've told you about it.
Yeah.
But part of me, when we were scheduling it, and we were thinking, it's should we celebrate our anniversary for a whole week? Mm-hmm. And then it's it's gonna cost this much. It's $300 something a night, and yada yada. I still want to go do that.
Yeah.
I have the means to do it. I'm not going to miss any bills because I do it. I'm not going to have a ton of money in the bank after it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to have a crazy debt, not a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a little less than I normally have, which is still a comfortable amount.
Yeah, and it's good as long as you live within your means. And also, we live in an economy and society right now that has made it very difficult, to live that way. It's been very hard to get this stuff kind of put away now compared to when our parents were young, and a mortgage was not even, a third. It was a quarter of your monthly revenue. Do you know how much your mortgage is now? Even if
it was $200 and a high five.
Yeah. Now your mortgage is, 50 to 60 to 70% of your gross income, because that's what where it's taking to afford.
Mine's like 40.
Yeah. So it's, it's crazy, but people are learning to live through that. All right. I think that's all we got.
Yep.
Get out of our face!